Hi and welcome to Building a SpaceX Clone Session 11. So in this session we will convert the HTML slideshow code we did in the last episode to the Ruby code. We will display the images by iterating through a two-dimensional array. We first do a one-dimensional array and then we add a second dimension to it. We will create separate model, views and controller from scratch. And sorry for the lengthy video, but I'm going through some details and also some error processing. Alright, so I'm using Paperclip still, but it has actually now been depreciated. The last and final version of Paperclip was made public during the fall, and no more updates will be available. So Rails users are encouraged to use active storage instead. However, instead of me abruptly changing to active storage, I will in a future episode cover the topic on how to migrate from Paperclip to active storage. Alright, I think that's a good idea. Alright, stick with me through the next hour of this episode. Here we go, let's get started.
Ground control to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Check ignition and may God's love be with you.
Alright, so let's go and open up the terminal and then cd into your projects directory. So I cd into ROR projects /rockets corp. Okay, and hit enter and then type Adam space dot to open up the text editor, and then I open up a new tab in the terminal. Let's minimize the text editor. There we go. And in this tab type Rails space S to start the server. As you know, I like to have the server running in a separate tab. While the server is starting, I will collapse some of these folders that were open, and I did a git commit since last time, so we will do a git commit in a little bit in case you didn't do one. So, but server is running. Let's go to the browser and here type localhost :3000 to load our project. Okay, so there we go. This is the slideshow we did last time from the Bootstrap's Caurosel theme. So in this session we will create an image uploader and iterate the banner images through a do loop to display them with, and we would do so of course with coding some Ruby. Okay, let's go and take a look at the HTML code we did last time. So go back to the text editor and then go, I'm going to open up a little bit here so you see better. Go to the app folder, to views, shared, and open the slideshow partial. Alright, so here I will just put a little comment to prepare you where in the slideshow we will put the do loop. So in here is where we will set slideshow within a do loop. Oops, there. Okay. Actually, we will not use this file per se. We will create separate files. Okay. Anyway, but now you know what to do. Let's go to the terminal and do that git commit there here. So here in the terminal, let's do git add space dot, and then let's do git commit -m single quotation, and let's just say added, actually let's just do styled the carousel slideshow. Alright, that's all we have to say. Okay, oops, I misspelled, I spelled gin instead of git. Okay, here we go. Alright, let's clear the window here in the terminal. Do git status. Alright, on branch master, nothing to commit. Back to the text editor and go to the DB folder and then open up the schema file. I already have mine open, but you go to the DB folder and click on the schema file. So when we created this project in the beginning, I already created the banner fields, but let's create a separate table for the image uploader. So back in the terminal, let's create a model now for it. So type Rails G model. Let's name the model Carousel with a capital C. And let's give it here, let's say slide title 1. I'll take the type string, and slide title 2 also with colon string. Right? Hit enter, and this will create a model, but also the carousel table, or actually we'll create first the migration file. So if you go back to the DB folder and to the migrate folder, we now have a migration file. And remember, make sure this says the version of your Ruby that you have, -5.2. Okay, back in the terminal, let's do rake db:/migrate to create the table in our database. Okay, let's go back to the schema file, and now here we go. You have the blueprint of the table that was just created. Remember, the schema file doesn't do anything in per se, it just shows us the structure of the table actually. Alright, so back in the terminal, let's create the corresponding controller. So here type Rails G controller carousels and hit enter. Great, now we created the controller. Alright, so let's take a look at the controller. We created a controller, and then it created a helper, and here we have the model. Alright, now let's go to the routes file, and in the config folder open up the routes.rb, and we will create the routes or the paths for our carousel model. Okay, so within here type resources space : carousels, and actually I ended up putting it within the do loop for the missions table. I don't want that. We want a separate paths for it, so we need to put it outside this do loop. So cut it out and put it in right there. Okay, let's go to the terminal. Let's do clear, and then here now we will type rake routes. So let me just minimize a little bit because it gets a little crowded with the routes, so I can see them better. There, rake routes. Good. There we have them. Still got looks. I like when it's all on one line, but that doesn't happen. So where are they? I think if I actually narrow the window, then I see it better. There we go. All right. So you see now we have carousel get, post, new _ carousel, add edit _ carousel. Okay, perfect. Let's clear it. And now what we need to do now, we need to create actually the banner upload by itself. So here, remember, to create this banner file name banner _ content type, we utilize the paperclip syntax. So back in the terminal here, type Rails G paperclip, and then type carousels and banner. Okay, and this creates a migration file that tells us we can add an attachment. So let's go back here to the DB folder, and in the migrate folder you see we now have a new migration file for the table carousels to take an attachment named banner or the field named banner. Alright, back in the terminal, type rake db:/migrate to migrate the data, the migration file. Alright, all done. Add attachment banner to carousels, and that's exactly what it did. If you go back to the schema file, now for our carousel table, we now have banner underscore file and all the other corresponding fields that Paperclip created. All right. All right, so I'm back. Let's now put in the necessary code for the controller views and model. So go and open up your controller, and also go and open up the carousel model. And in the views, we do have a carousel folder, but there are no views here. We wouldn't be needing like index and show views, etc. But let's go back to the carousel controller, and here we need to put in the necessary actions corresponding to the views. So remember when we did the missions controller, because we scaffolded, all these actions was generated for us. But back here in the carousel controller, we will put in them by hand. So let's start with defining the index action. So type def index and then end. Let's continue with the new. So here type def new and end. Then we need to have a create. So type def create end. Then we need an edit. So type def edit and end. And we need to update the edit. So type def update end. And then of course we need to be able to destroy an uploaded file. So type def destroy, destr, oops, not two s's, one s, oy, and end. Alright, so these are the actions. So the index, new, and edit would have a corresponding view to each action. And we also need a show action. So here type def show and then end. Now let's go to your carousel folder and do a right mouse click, and then I click create new file. So I would create index.html.erb. And here I just type hello from index. And what we can do now with this file, we can just duplicate it. So if you do a right mouse click on the index and just click duplicate, and instead of index type new, and here instead of index we just type new. I don't know if you hear my cat, but she just started to meow as soon as I started to talk here. Alright, let's duplicate the new and type show, and instead of new type show. And then we need to duplicate it one more time for the edit file. Okay, so here do a right mouse click, duplicate, and here type edit over the show and replace show with edit. Awesome. Now we did all the corresponding view files for the actions we just created in the controller. Now let's actually go and take a look at it in the browser. But first, go to the terminal and do rake routes so we can see what path we need to type in the address bar in the browser. Alright, here we are. I did rake routes. So we need carousels that corresponds to the index view. There we go. So slash carousels. And then we need to do new. And we're not going to see the edit. I'm going to show you what happens with that one right now. But we can do a slash show as well. Alright, so go to the browser, and after the 3000 type slash carousels. That takes us to the index. Alright, you see there, hello from index. And then here do slash new, hello from new. Perfect, they work. And let's do show, hello from show. And now let's do slash edit, and you're going to see what happens. Alright, it defaulted back to show. Is because here, and just double check, we did type edit in the edit file. So if you look at the rake routes in your terminal, you see that you technically have a /:ID for the edit. We don't have any IDs right now, so because we don't have anything uploaded, and therefore it defaulted to the show page. All right, let's go back to the carousel model, or actually not go back, go to the carousel model, and we now need to do some validation for the uploading of the banner. And we did this already in the missions model with the corresponding paperclip syntax. So you can just go and copy all this and go and paste it into the carousel model. And instead of the pick one, type banner. Okay. And we will have different dimensions for the large one. I will have the large will be 1920 times 800. And for the medium and small, we need to have the same ratio. So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to find out the ratio by doing 1920 divided by 800. There we go. All right, 2.4, that's the ratio factor. Okay, so what we can do, since we now have the height of 400 for the medium, we can do 2.4 times 400. Then we get the width for the medium file. So for the small one, we're going to have a height of 200. This would be for the phone. So then we can do 2.4 times 200, which is 480. All right, and instead of thumb, I will rename it to small. So the medium will be displayed in a tablet, and the small will be for the phone versions. All right, cool. We're all done with that. Now go to your carousel controller, and we now need to create the instance variables. Okay, so they can be accessed from the views. So within the index here, let's name this @slides equals, and then we put the name of the model. So we do carousel dot all. So the method all would access all slides that we will upload eventually. And within the new here, type @slide equal. So this is just singular @slide. Carousel dot new. Okay, so remember these all and new are inherent methods for Ruby on Rails. And within create, do the same thing. Do @slide equal carousel dot new. But do parentheses, and in here I will type slide _ params. I will explain in a second where we were going to do with these slide params. And then type if @slide.save, so if it was successful in saving, we can redirect to the index page. Okay. Otherwise, or else, we want to render the new page again. All right, so the slide params will access the banner, slide title 1 and slide title 2 within a private method. Now within the show action, do again here @slide equal carousel dot find. And then we do parentheses, and then type params square bracket :ID. Right? So now, because in the show page they need to access a specific ID of the banner that we have uploaded. Okay. Now we need to have exactly the same in the edit. So you can copy this, and then for the update, because remember the edit, we need to be able to edit a specific file. Then in the update paste in the at slides equal carousel dot find the params ID, and then here we say if at slide dot update. So update is a method again within Ruby on Rails, and then this one takes the argument the slide params. So if it was successful in updating, we say redirect underscore to, and we're going to redirect to at slide. So we direct to whatever we uploaded just now. Okay. Then we have else, of course. And let's just say then we will render edit page again. So type render single quotation edit. Okay. Now within the destroy we have basically a similar format. Again we have at slide equal carousel dot find parenthesis params and then the ID. So then we do at slide and then we call on the method destroy. Okay, so then after it's destroyed we say redirect to. We cannot redirect to the slide we just destroyed, it doesn't exist anymore. So let's redirect to the index page. Alright, now we need to deal with the slide params here. These are for safety create within a private method, so type private, and then here let's define then the action slide params. So type def slide underscore params and then type end right away, so we close this action. Then here to access this params we type params dot require parenthesis, and within the parenthesis to do colon carousel, same name as the model, and then type dot permit, and within here we have the field names. So we do colon banner, comma, colon slide title 1, comma, colon slide title 2, comma. Okay, now it's very important that these are spelled correctly, exactly the same as the fields within the table that we created. So let's go and double check that, for instance, this slide title 1 is spelled correctly. So go to the DB and open up the schema file, and yes, it's spelled correctly, slide title 1, slide title 2, and banner. However, I discovered something. You might have done the same or maybe not. I capitalized slide title 2. Now, if I wouldn't have discovered this, it would actually created a little bit of a conundrum, because basically all computer languages are case sensitive. So it would definitely go like, we don't want to show this. Okay, I'm going to take a little break again, and I see you in a bit. Bye. Alright, let's continue by creating the upload form. So I'm just checking so I have everything up and running again. Okay, go to your text editor, and then in your app folder, go to the views folder, then the carousel folder, and open up new.html.erb. This is the file we are using to create the upload form. And then also go to the controllers folder and open up the carousel controller. So this is the new action and the create action that the new file will be talking to in the controller. Alright, so let's open up our Ruby syntax and create the form. So less than sign, percentage sign, equal sign, and type form underscore form, and then colon carousel, which corresponds to the carousel model we are using, and then comma, type URL, colon, and here we need our path. So go to the terminal, and let's do rake routes to find the path for the upload form. Okay, we're going to need a post verb. So here is the new underscore carousel corresponding to the new view HTML. But we don't want this. We This is the one we want, Carousel's path, that corresponds to the post verb, because remember we are posting something onto our database. All right, so here then type carousels underscore path and then do colon, and then we need HTML colon, do curly brackets, and here type multi-part colon true, because we're uploading both an image and a text. Okay, and then type do pipe sign, and then let's do, not, we don't have to do form, we can do just do F for the argument in there, close the Ruby syntax, and then here we now need to put little styling in here. So let's do a div class of container, follow the bootstrap format. Then the next opening div tag, I'm just going to copy this, and here instead of container type row, and paste it again. Instead of row, we're going to have a call-md-12, right? And then let's close these three div tags. So first closing div tag, and then I put a comment of call-md-12, and I can just copy this and paste it below. For each other div tag, this corresponds to the row, and this one corresponds to the container. Okay, great. And in here we need to put in the form here. So we need another div tag for with the class of field. So we can just copy again and paste and change this to field and close this div tag. Actually, I can just copy this. As you know, I like to have comments so I know what corresponds to what. Okay? And in here we need the Ruby syntax for the form, so open up the Ruby syntax. And here type F, which corresponds to the argument there, dot label. And then this would be the banner, so type colon banner and close the Ruby syntax. And on the next row, open up the Ruby syntax again, then F dot, we will do file underscore field, and then colon banner. This is where the banner actually gets uploaded. And let's do comma, and let's style it with a class of form control. There we go, form-control. Okay. As you know, this comes with Bootstrap's format. Okay. And for the titles, we can just copy this whole between the opening field tag and closing field tab and paste it below. Let's check so we get the spelling correctly. This is what will be the slide title, so we can copy this from the carousel controller and go back to the new file and just paste it in, and paste it in right there as well. Okay, and we need to change the file to text because this is a text field. We can copy this again and paste it. This will be for the copyright text, so this is called slide title 2, change 1 to 2. And remember, I have the S capitalized, so if you also have it capitalized, change the S to the uppercase, otherwise leave it in lowercase. Here we need a submit button, so I do a div tag with class action, and I just copy here and closing. Instead of field, I type action, and in here open up the Ruby syntax for the submit button and do f.submit, and let's give this a prompt text of upload banner. We can do a comma, let's style the button, so let's do class colon quotation, and let's do btn btn-md for medium size, and let's do btn-info. That's that light blue or turquoise blue. Close the Ruby syntax. Moving up this a little bit. All right, we're ready to test it out. Go to your browser and refresh. type /new after carousels. Oopsie. Alright, expecting keyword end. Alright, I didn't close the do loop. So remember, since I have a do loop up here, it needs to have an end for it. So Ruby syntax again and type end, but no equal sign. Right, back to the browser and refresh. Great. Okay, so let's test it. Let's upload a banner. So I'm going to browse for a picture. I'm going to go to the Ruby project actually, and to the Rockets Corp, and in here I go to app, and I will go to the assets, images, and then I will choose discovery.jpg. Hopefully you have found some cool images. All right, for the slide title, let's say shuttle launch. So here, shuttle launch. It's such a cool image actually. And then for the copyright text, I'm just going to say made by NASA. All right, upload banner. Oops. All right, that's a little disturbing. So what I will do here, I will investigate this error, and then I will get back to you and I will walk you through it, okay? Because I don't know what this is right now. See you soon. Alright, so what we need to do to investigate our mistake is to go to the console in the terminal. So open up a new tab in your terminal, and here type Rails space C for console. Alright, we will here be able to access our database in the console, so we can see if the content from our form was submitted correctly. So here type carousel.all. So carousel is the name of the table, and all shows all the entries. Okay, I have one extra entry here compared to you. You should only have one. So I will delete mine. Do not do what I'm about to do. Just look at what I'm doing for a bit. So I'm just going to delete what I checked out, and then we will have the same amount of entries. So here, to delete it, I found my extra entry, which have ID of 6. This is says slide title here. It's not the same title as we did when we uploaded it. Okay, so I deleted it, and now I'm only have the same. You should have exactly the same as me. We have the shuttle launch for the first title, and I have this picture that I'm uploaded, discovery, and second title is made by NASA. Alright, so let's go to our text editor and go to where it says public here, and go to the system, and you will see carousels and banners. This is where Paperclip upload its images. Okay, so I click on ID 7 because this is what I have. You should have ID 1. And sure enough, Paperclip has uploaded it in the correct spot. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go to the browser, and I just hit enter, and I should be able to see it. Okay, all right. Perfect. So I do /show. We will get an error because we have not yet created the content on our show and index page yet. So that's why we didn't see it. It was looking for an ID to display, but it can't find it. So go back to your text editor and go to the views, and to open up show and also the index. Let's do the index first to display. Okay, here open up the Ruby syntax, and we need to create a do loop that will iterate all the banner is in our slideshow. So here first type @slides. So if you go to the carousels controller, you see this instance variable that we need to catch. So do @slides.each do pipe signs, and in here put an S as an argument for slides. Close the Ruby syntax. And on the new line, we will have an if statement. Open up the Ruby syntax and said if s.banner.present question sign, meaning if it can find an image. Close the Ruby syntax. So then this s says banner. so it catches the images it's supposed to iterate through. Then open up the Ruby syntax with an equal sign and say image underscore tag s.banner.url parenthesis and do :large. This is the large is the paperclip syntax that fetches the large image. And here let's do else, and let's put in an h3 tag and say no image available. Okay, and then we need to put in an end for the Ruby do loop. Okay, so if the image is present, it will display the large banner image. If not, it will display an h3 tag saying no image available. Okay, and now we need to put in the two titles, title 1 and title 2. So let's do an h3 tag again. Open up the Ruby syntax equal, and let's say slide title s.slide title 1. Close the Ruby syntax, and let's close this h3 tag, and then copy it to below, and let's change we need a capital S for the second slide title, and we need a 2 here. Alright, save it, and then we need to put an end for the do loop. The end before was actually for the if statement, of course, not the do loop. Okay, great. Let's go and check this out in the browser. Alright, I go back here and then I hit enter. Perfect, there it is. Alright, and there are our slide titles as well. Okay, so that works. Let's go to the show page now, and we will follow approximately the same syntax, except we will not be needing a do loop. So here, open up the Ruby syntax, and we will be saying if banner is present, but here we need to catch the instance variable at slide.banner.present ? Close the Ruby syntax, and then we want to display the slide. So open up the Ruby syntax again. Basically we will have this syntax. Instead of s, we will say at slide. So we can just copy this, go to the show page and paste it in, and each s replace it with at slide. So we're catching the specific slide for this show page corresponding to a certain ID. Alright, let's go to the browser and refresh, or to the show page. Actually, now you're going to see something. We will have to do rake routes. So go to the terminal and to your other tab, and here do rake routes. Okay, so we cannot do /show because the show page is for a very specific ID. As you see here, forget, it says carousel /:ID, and the ID that I need for me is 7. If this is your first try you uploaded something, then your ID should be 1. Okay, so /1 you should say. I have /7 because that was the ID of that upload. I had an error, I have an extra end. No worries, that's why I didn't pay so much attention to it, because I copied and pasted. Alright, save it, go back to the browser and refresh. There, perfect. Alright. Okay, so now we know it works. I don't know if that fixed the uploading error. Okay, so we're going to upload a new page, or a new banner. So go to the do /new, hit browse and go and find an image. I will do this moon invasion 1. So I select it, and then I click open, and let's say let's invade, actually let's say occupy the moon, and here let's say shuttles departing daily. Okay, like I said, I don't know if the error is completely fixed, so let's see if we get it. Like, oops, okay, I still had the error. Okay, So what it is, I'm pretty sure it just dawned on me when I looked in the public folder. One of the subfolders said thumb still, and if you remember, I changed in the carousel model, I changed the thumb to small. I bet that is. So anyway, you try that yourself, and then we meet next time. I will style this now, and then I will upload it. So it should be available pretty quickly. All right, we stop right here. Take care. Bye-bye.